Just going to add on real quick before I dive into this, the story that Mav just shared. So he called me, I think it was 2 weeks ago, and like he said, he was having a couple issues trying to raise cash for the project that he's working on. And he asked for a bit of help, and I made the mistake of giving a bit of advice, because he then asked me to speak at Kickstart. But from my experience at Kickstart, there's always really great speakers, that fly from all over the world and share incredible stories. And I was looking forward to watching one of those today, and I thought we were going to have one. And then he sent out the invitation for Kickstart, and this Facebook photo that he took from me at Zouk nightclub was the cover photo. So I was a bit surprised, to say the least, but I'm always happy to share some of the stories that we have, and hopefully you guys can learn something today. So before we start, how many of you have either just recently launched a business or have an idea that you want to launch? I'm guessing that's a lot of you, yeah? So you have an idea or you just recently launched? Hands up. How many? Good, fantastic, quite a few of you. All right, how many of you have finished products that you're ready to commercialize? Yeah, so you've got something in the market, you just need a crap load of cash to go out and market. Hands up, how many of you finished products? Okay, and last one, how many of you are ready to scale up internationally? How many of you are looking to expand regionally right now? Fantastic. That means my assumptions are accurate and I can continue talking. That's good. All right, so the bad news is about 90% of us here will fail on whatever we're currently working on. But that's, at least in my opinion, what's so incredible about entrepreneurship is that we're actually crazy enough to pursue what everyone tells us is impossible, right? We're as I like to say, unreasonably passionate. And so no matter what they say, it doesn't matter, we're gonna do it, yeah? Even with all the barriers to success. That 90% is obviously just a number. Most people aren't fortunate enough to be part of a community like Kickstart that Maverick has created. So hopefully coming here today, like I mentioned, I'll be able to share with you a few lessons and stories that we've gone through that has helped us to raise cash. Okay? So who am I? I am Mr. Tropicana. Many people call me. Some people call me Juicy. Don't ask me why. I can't say it in public. Founder of Mother Goose Venture Developers. MGVD is a venture builder. What that means in simple terms is we have a team of what is now around 30 people that have come from all over the world and Malaysia to build companies. Yeah, we have one very, very clear goal: build as many kick-ass companies as we can. And as you know, the Malaysian startup scene is heating up. It's still not massive, it is heating up, and there are thousands of entrepreneurs all fighting for scarce resources, yeah? Very limited amount of resources. If you look at what investors want when you're raising capital, obviously ROI, return on investment, is at the very top of that list. But as startups are so incredibly risky, why should they invest in it? Why not just go for property where it's a guaranteed ROI? Yeah? Why should they put their money on us, the crazy ones? The other big question, and I'll try to help answer that today, is how can you make sure that you stand out from the crowd? Yeah? When you're looking to raise money, obviously you're not the only one. We'd all love to have a lot of money here, I'm sure. Yeah? So how do you make sure that you stand out from the crowd and get a piece of that pie? All right? What it comes down to are a few simple things: mindset, relationships, and then raising cash from the right people at the right time with the right strategies. I'm going to try and cover all of that today. Let's talk about Uber real quickly. Is that good? Yeah. Maybe. Who knows? We'll see. We'll figure it out. Let's talk about Uber for a bit. I should be my own clicker, yeah? I'm sure a lot of you just heard about the big round that they did, yeah? $1.2 billion at, I think it was an $18 billion valuation. It's incredible, right? It's absolutely incredible how much they've raised. But my question to you would be, how many strategic partnerships did they have? How much revenue did they have at the time? How did they manage to go from a tiny startup to delivering a 280x return for the early investors? Those are questions that are much more difficult to find an answer to, right? If we only read about these massive investment rounds, it creates a bit of a warped or inflated understanding of what startup success actually is, right? 1.2 billion, it's just unfathomable. And in the end, a few of you have, I've seen a lot of familiar faces, so a lot of you have heard me say this before, but what I see as one of the biggest diseases in entrepreneurship in the world, but also Malaysia, is this mindset of genuinely believing that the end goal in running a startup is to raise money, right? That's not the goal. The goal is to build a product or a service that delivers value. Cash is only the tool, right? Perfect. I think we're on track. So why do you need this tool? Yeah, I'm gonna ask the question to you guys real quick. So why do you want to raise cash? Give me a few answers. Anyone? I got to pick on the front. To grow? Fantastic. What else? Give me a few more. Get developers, so build your team. Marketing, I heard over there. A couple others. Why do you want to raise money? It's just what? To leave? To live. Oh, okay, to live. One more? Yeah. So basically, launching the business, building your team, accelerating the growth, and then scaling internationally. These are all great reasons. None of them are wrong, but none of them are the real reason, right? Why do you raise cash? The reason is you raise cash so that you can make more money, yeah? Don't interpret that as the only reason we're building companies is to make money. It's absolutely not the case. But what I can say, at least 99.9% of the time, is the only reason an investor is giving you money is because they want more money, right? Nothing wrong with that, but you need to understand that going in. I've never used this analogy before, other than the other day when we were chit-chatting about this session, so I'm not sure if it's going to work, but think of your money, think of your cash as soldiers. Yeah, think of your cash as soldiers. And their only goal in life, their reason for existence, is to go out to war, take prisoners, and build up their army. Right? So I'm going to sort of elaborate that a bit more throughout the session today. But think of them as soldiers. Uber, Pinterest, Fab, Lazada, Airbnb, what do these guys all have in common? It's very simple. They raised a shitload of cash. They raised an absolutely enormous amount of money. And the reason they did that is because they want to build a global billion-dollar giant. Yeah? If you want to build a small mom-and-pop shop that's profitable, nothing wrong with that. Fantastic. If you want to build a global giant, typically, you need to raise money. Mind Valley is actually a great example of a company that funded themselves, and I don't know if they're at billion yet, but they're worth quite a lot. So it is possible, but typically you do need to raise. So now that we know why you want to raise money, let's look a bit more about when. Yeah? What happens if you send these soldiers out to war too early, right? They're going to end up at the battlefield waiting and starve to death without even getting the chance to fight. Yeah? If possible, and it usually is, in the early days of your business, try to keep that focus on building your product or your service instead of raising capital, right? Not possible for everyone, but typically it is. That said, if you send your soldiers too late, what happens is that the enemy is entrenched and you basically walk into a meat grinder. Yeah, if you launch your business, you get some early success, the market's going to notice, they're going to raise more money than you, and they're going to build it faster than you. So you do have to defend yourself. Yeah? But finding that balance is important. When we started MGVD, we didn't raise any capital at all. And the reason is the last thing that we wanted is fundraising to slow us down. Right? That's the last goal. You don't raise money, launch, accelerate, scale. Slowing down, it doesn't fit. Yeah? So not taking the choice of raising cash gave us the freedom to do absolutely anything we wanted. And when you look at a company like MGVD, we thrive on coming up with crazy ideas on a daily basis, from Monday to Friday, going through the entire startup cycle. You can't always do that. If you're very lucky, you get a fantastic investor. Typically, you can't do that. Yeah. Now that we have a large team, 10 companies, strong brand, crystal clear vision, we are looking to raise money and accelerate that success. Yeah. But we're doing it now instead of when we started. And the final one here, final point is don't undervalue cash flow management. Typically plan for at least 4 months. If you want to raise money, plan for at least 4 months. You don't want to end up in the scenario where you've got a great team, right? You've convinced the team, these incredible entrepreneurs to join you. You've got a great product, and you go bankrupt. Yeah? So plan accordingly. Make sure you understand cash flow management. And that's coming from a guy that hates Excel and financial sheets and whatnot, but you do need to understand that. Okay, so who do we get the cash from? A bit of dry information here that a lot of you know, but I'll go through it real quick. VCs, angels, grants, what are the differences? Yeah, just to make sure we're all on the same page. VC, venture capital firms, professionally manage other people's money. Yeah, they look for low risk, much larger scale investments. They'll put you through excruciating amounts of due diligence, but they bring in more strategic value and want around a 10x return. Okay? Angel investors have a slightly larger appetite for risk. They'll make smaller investments and similarly look for around 10x return. Okay? And with grants, there's very clear advantages and disadvantages there. Beyond the money, there's not going to be much value add. Right? And I'm going to talk about some of the grants, and I only have good things to say about them. But the reality is most grants, most funds are run by non-investors and non-entrepreneurs. That's just the reality. Yeah? So you're not going to get much strategic value. That said, they're going to give you free cash without taking any equity of your company. So clear pros and cons. There's, if you're looking at the second point here and wondering what the heck it means, there's a very cool post by the author Seth Godin last week. If you're not subscribed to his blog, do it. It's the best thing you can do for your learnings. He was sort of talking about how to pick your next project in life. And he explains that once you've got your long, crazy list of different ideas, all the different opportunities that are available for you, you need to choose what you want. If you want quick, easy, cheap, proven, fun, etc. Right? Absolutely all of them are right and wrong. It doesn't matter. You just need to publicly pick which one you want and then commit to it. And the same can be said for fundraising. Yeah? VCs, angels, grants, they're all fantastic. But you need to know which one is the best for you, commit to it, and then push forward and be able to defend that position. When they ask you, why are you coming to me, you better have a good answer for it. Yeah? So make sure you commit. How much to raise? This one's a big question. How much money? There are two core points here. One is valuation, and the second one is the actual amount. Investing in startups is extremely risky business. Yeah? Investors deserve to be properly compensated for that. If you're asking them to give you $500K, they actually have better odds just going to the casino and putting it on black or red, right? They have 8 zillion things that they could do with their money. So why give it to you? Why do you deserve it? We talk about valuation all the time. And the reality is that for an early stage startup, and I'm talking really early stage, the valuation's zero. Yeah? It's just an idea. It's just a concept. You don't have a product. You don't have any revenue. Your value is zero. And it's just a dream. Luckily, This is a happy story, and the reason is you can get investors to believe in your dream. You can get them to be a part of your dream. You just need to tell them a great story, and this is the important part, a great story that reduces the perceived risk in investing in you. Yeah? I guess the most important part to take from that is that your idea isn't the most important aspect of your business. Your ability to execute that idea better than anyone else is what's important. Yeah? So reduce the perceived risk. That's all an investment is. The story that you tell an investor must include your rockstar team, of course, the opportunity, and most importantly, the exit strategy for them. Yeah? Team, opportunity, exit strategy. And if you can get them to believe in this story, you can pick any valuation you want. Yeah? Not too astronomical, but get them to believe, and they'll give you cash. The second question, so that's valuation. The second question, how much to raise? It's actually a really stupid question, and a lot of people ask it to me, and I tell them it's a stupid question. Why? Because you're asking the wrong question. It's not how much do I need to raise, it's how much do you need to build your company? That's how much you raise. Yeah, don't try to just come up with a number out of nowhere and then make it make sense. How much do you need to build your business? Go raise that amount of money. Yeah? The best way to do this is based off of milestones, right? So I'm sure you've got some milestones for your business. Match up your investment plan according to those milestones, and you should be able to come to a number that makes sense and that you can justify. Yeah? If you raise more than you need, you're throwing away equity at a stupid valuation. If you don't raise enough, you're going to spend half your life raising money. Yeah? We had a guy who came by to pitch very recently, and quickly we realized that he only owns 10% of his business. The other 90% went to one angel investor who, over a series of very tiny rounds, ate up his entire company. Yeah? So the lesson there is don't be an idiot and give away 90% of your company. Yeah? Make sure you raise an amount that makes sense. Not too much, not too little. Cool. All right, so as most of us are early stage entrepreneurs, I'm going to talk a bit about grants. Yeah, they are our best option out of the three: VCs, angels, and grants. Yeah. What I'll share is absolutely applicable to really any type of investor, but the examples I'll use will touch on the grants. Yeah. We have many of them in Malaysia. Almost every organization. We've even got MDEC somewhere in the room. The example I'll use today is Cradle Fund. Yeah. Has anyone worked with Cradle yet? Have you applied? Have you secured funding? Someone? Yes, one? There's got to be more than that. Come on. They love giving away money. All right, so in the past, it was way too easy to raise money from Cradle. I'm talking about years ago. And they got a lot of hate about that because they were just wasting cash. They then refined their approach and got a lot of hate for being too difficult to raise money from. Yeah. So perfect example of haters will hate. I've done a lot of work with Cradle, and they actually have a fantastic team. Yes, again, most of them are not entrepreneurs or investors, but they do have a strong team. The challenge is that you need to understand exactly how they work. Yeah. So here we'll look at three quick things: mindset, relationships, and processes. All right. So with mindset, there are three lessons I want to share with you guys. And I know it's going to sound very fluffy, high level, but this stuff works. We've done it and it works. So you're just going to have to take my word for it for now and then go out and try. First off, never wait for anyone or anything. Yeah? Never, ever, ever wait. If you walk into the door with the mindset that you're going to build that company, no matter whether they give you cash or not, it's more likely that you will get their money. Yeah? Does that make sense? Nothing's going to get in your way. If they give you the money, if they don't give you the money, it doesn't matter. You're building it. You're going to get it. Yeah? Second, I'm a bit weird, as anyone who works with me knows, and I walk around calling myself Mr. Tropicana and Juicy and whatever. But when someone gives me money, when an investor gives us money, I couldn't be more serious about respecting that cash. Yeah? You need to have a deep responsibility for respecting that money. And investors love that, and they see it. Yeah? And they won't give you money if you don't respect it. And of course, very simply, just ask for it. You're never going to get it unless you just ask for it. And actually, on the notes back there, I even took a screenshot. Let's see if I have it here. There was someone who put up, I'm going to put them on the spot to find out who it was. There was someone who, what is this? Haki bin Jalil? So I'm looking for a rich future wife and sexy like a Victoria's Secret model. Yeah, like, if you don't ask for it, you're not going to get it. Yeah, so kudos to him. Who was it, by the way? Who was that? Oh, what's up? Cool. All right, relationships. I'm no Cupid, absolutely. But there are some really basic strategies that you guys can use here. Yeah. This is applicable to everything in life, not just business, love relationships, everything. Seek first to understand before being understood. Yeah? Try to understand them before you get them to understand you. We got Cradle funding for one of our ventures, Ticket Hero. And how am I doing on time, man?
Yeah, good.
Speed up a bit.
Nice.
It's okay, we're good. Cool. So we got funding for Ticket Hero, and the way that we did it is a bit manipulative, but it works. We met with absolutely everyone in the decision process for the grant disbursement before we submitted our application. We met with absolutely every single one of them. And no, we didn't offer them any money or any bullshit like that, but we met with them and we built up relationships. Yeah? We got input from every single level of the organization, and we integrated that into our application. We got them to be a part of our journey and take emotional ownership in our idea. Yeah? So these are the people that are approving the cash, and we got them to come aboard on our journey. So this part is super, super key. When it finally came time for due diligence, they were actually looking at their own ideas and suggestions, yeah? Mixed in with ours, but they were looking at their own ideas. So obviously, they approve it, right? And that's the trick. Make sure that you're building relationships with everyone that's involved, and make sure you integrate their ideas, yeah? Never sacrifice the quality of your business. If they give you a horrible idea, work with them to build it up, but make sure you show that you care and you respect what they bring to the table. Yeah? One thing that you really need to understand about grants and funds and bursaries and all these things, and even VCs, is that they have allocated a certain amount of capital to invest. Yeah? They have to spend that money. Us, entrepreneurs, we have different KPIs, X number of sales meetings and whatnot. Their KPI is spend money. Yeah, that's their KPI. Give cash away. But it's not that easy. It's really not. So I've been pitched many times. People have come to our door and shared their ideas, and I can understand the pain that Cradle goes through. Why? Because it's extremely rare to get an entrepreneur that comes into the door and knows how much money they need, what they're going to do with it, and how exactly they're going to do that. Yeah, what's their execution plan? How much they need, what are they going to do with it, and how are they going to do it? If you can communicate that to an investor or a grantor, or whoever it is, or even when you're out recruiting people for your team, suddenly your story becomes a lot more tangible. Suddenly they can imagine themselves joining on with the journey. Yeah? What you really don't want to do is be a bozo. I think I can say bozo here, right? That's pretty good. Yeah, don't be a bozo and walk into Cradle Fund or any of the others and expect them to tell you how to build your business. Yeah? I know it sounds strange, but a lot of people do it without even intending to do it. Yeah, you just start getting chit-chatting away. Next thing you know, you're asking them for advice on this, this, and that. What that shows is weakness. What that shows is that you don't know how to build your own company. The goal here is make sure that you can answer all of their questions before they even ask them. And if you can do that, then they'll be checking off their boxes, nodding their heads, and suddenly you're eligible for their cash. Yeah, it's really that easy. So in closing, if you believe in your team, if you believe in the opportunity that you're pursuing and your ability to execute that idea better than anyone else, don't ever feel bad asking for money. Yeah, a lot of people do. Don't ever feel bad asking for money if you have the foundation required to pull it off. Those investors are lucky to have someone that genuinely cares about building the business holding their money. They're lucky, yeah? So finally, ask for it, ask for the money, respect it, and build a kick-ass company. Thank you.
Okay, we'll actually open the floor to questions and all that, so you can be specific, like take the mic first, and then basically ask Adam a question. He's the expert here. So first question. I think the prisoner photo didn't really...
I know, man. They're scared of me. Come on. I'm not that scared.
Yeah, okay.
What's up?
Always a faster.
Okay, hello. My name's Admin.
Hey, bro.
All right.
Keep it easy.
Okay. Yeah, I think it should be easy for you,
Thanks.
but just be a little bit patient with me. I'm kind of noob at it. What is a Cradle Fund?
Oh, Cradle. Oh,
Yeah.
fantastic. So Cradle is the investment arm of the Ministry of Finance. They've been around for about 15 years. And I think at this point they've invested in, like 1,000 companies, 1,000 different startups. They have 2 grants. One is CIP 150, which is the Catalyst Fund, basically prototype development. And then they have CIP 500, which is 500K ringgit, and that's for commercialization. And just this year, I mean, they're trying, but they're launching a 3rd one, which is an actual VC where they do take equity. Yeah.
So it's international, right?
No, this is for Malaysia. Malaysian startups, Malaysian entrepreneurs, yeah. How long have you been here? Are you Malaysian? Get on it, man.
Wasn't aware. I said to patient.
Okay,
But
cool.
thanks a lot.
Yeah, Cradle's awesome. They're a very, very good team, very accessible, and happy to help out.
And actually recently, like I tried before my impatience ran out, a few months ago, they make you answer like 1,000 questions before you can submit. But now there's only like 3 pages of the form. First page is basically your particulars. Second is they ask you 5 key questions that you are supposed to use like 50 words or less to answer, and just email it. So seriously, you guys should go and check it. I was telling Chiki, you know, any monkey brain idea that we have, you're just gonna submit it. And I think that's one thing that I learned from Adam. We shouldn't pin our hopes just on one killer idea. You need to have tons of killer ideas. And 6 months down the road, they give you the call and say, hey, Matt, you know what? That dumb idea that you pitched just 6 months ago, here's 150,000. Go and spend it. So, you know. Yeah, Alyssa, what's the question?
Just to add to that, they're trying to shift the format from piles of paperwork to more interview format. So they
good.
Yeah, it's fantastic. So they quickly filter through a lot of these micro applications, and then the ones that aren't complete trash, they bring them in for an interview, which is awesome. Yeah. Go for it.
Ladies first.
Beautiful.
Nice rap, by the way.
Press it?
I can hear you. I'll repeat the question. What's up?
Thank you. Okay, so when you're starting a company, like I'm from Canada as well.
Oh, wicked. Where?
British Columbia.
Okay, Montreal.
Montreal, you know,
Cool.
we're
Yeah.
across the way. I've been here. The reason he said it was a good idea, I came to the right country. I've been here 2 weeks. But that being said, when you're choosing to start something, where do you base it? What country does it?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so just for those that didn't hear, she's Canadian. Give her a round of applause. And she's asking, when you're just starting a business, how do you pick where to base it geographically?
Yeah, I mean, what country do I go back to the States? Do I go back to Canada? Do I start it here?
Like, where's your husband or boyfriend? I, mean, I guess base with
That's
him.
pretty direct.
Yeah. No, but what's up? Tax? Come on. Malaysia's not bad. They've got, what, 10 years free tax incentive. I definitely wouldn't base it off of tax, sorry. And the reason is that's not what's going to make or break the business, yeah? What's going to make or break the business is a place where you can have fun, absolutely. You have to enjoy what you're doing. A place... Malaysia's good for that. You need... Let me take one step back, yeah? So what you need to build a business, very simple, 3 things. People, ideas, and money. Doesn't matter the industry, doesn't matter the business. People, ideas, money, yeah? So if you can find those 3 things in a place that you love, then I would pick that location. Canada's fantastic. It's a small market. I don't know. It's up to you, you know? What I can say is that when I came over to Malaysia, I knew literally one person and you know, very quickly managed to build up that network. But I knew nothing about Malaysia when I came here. And now that I've been here for close to 2 years, it's actually the perfect market for startups. And since I've got all of you here, I might as well say that, right? Mindvalley stands about, you know, reversing brain drain and everything Vishen shares. Malaysia actually has the perfect balance between English being everywhere, tech infrastructure is decent, low operational expenses.
Yeah, screw Singapore.
Yeah, screw Singapore for sure. Startups are built on mistakes, and you can't make a mistake in Singapore. You go bankrupt, yeah? So, yeah. I'm not sure if that didn't really answer your question, but what's up? Yeah. People, ideas, and money. Cool.
I think on top of that, what he mentioned is also the ecosystem. So I think certain countries, they don't have shit like this. They don't have meetings and stuff like that. So I think, I mean, I'm not patriotic in any way, but I just think that being in KL, you know, is way better than Singapore. Okay, having said that, Singapore is the next best place that I would go to because this idea of Kickstart, I kind of stole it from Singapore because... but what they do is that they have meetings like this almost every night. So if you go there as an expat actually, which is what I did, 1 week I just go to like 10 meetings, that's how I expand my network. So yeah, but come to Malaysia, it's way more awesome.
Yeah. You had one, yeah?
Yeah.
What's up?
Guy has a question.
Yeah, I have a question on...
It's okay, I'll repeat it. It's cool.
I have a question on the equity.
Okay.
Now you mentioned that those angel investors and venture capitalists, how do we determine that the money that they give it to us, on how much of the percentage that we hold by them and how much of our side to keep a safe balance?
Yeah, so he's asking when we're talking about equity, how do you determine how much you actually give the investor, yeah? It's based off of a few things. The highest level sort of fluffy answer is going to be they're taking between 15 and 30% typically, somewhere around there. Doesn't matter how much money you're raising, doesn't really matter anything. It's going to be around that amount, yeah? And the reason for that is if they take too small, they don't have enough skin in the game to care. If they take too much, they would fear that the entrepreneur wouldn't have enough skin in the game to sort of compete, especially when they go out and raise future rounds.
What about like the company has been like incorporated to a Indian company? How do you determine on the value of the shares and what kind of amount that they're looking at? Like you're talking about like a share, $1, but how is...
So you want to value the company in its current state, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. It's a big question. I mean, from the perspective of an investor, yeah, the numbers obviously have to make sense. You're basing it off of either revenues or, in the case of many of the apps these days, WhatsApp and Tinder and whatnot, it's going to be based off of user acquisition, not revenue. But really, to give you a high-level short answer, what it all comes back to is what kind of a return are the investors going to get? Yeah, so you have to value it at a number where you're not undercutting yourself, you're not underselling yourself, but the investors can still get a fantastic return, 18, 36 months from then. Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, Lillian, is Jason coming later? No, okay. He should, because Jason is one of the friends that I knew who company just got acquired for X amount of numbers. So you should, and he's very, very much in the fitness business, very localized, and he was teaching me how he actually evaluate the business before he sell it. It's different, I think, for tech and all that. I mean, look at WhatsApp, for like a company that only make
19 billion.
Yeah, they only make 8 million for the past 8 years. They were actually valued at close to 20. So it's very hard to actually put a number on it sometimes.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Yes.
What's up?
It's like when we are writing a business plan, I have a question in terms of...
Don't write a business plan. That's my answer.
Like,
no, go ahead.
It's like, how can I write operating costs? How long do I have to return it inside? So it's like 4 years or 3 years?
I mean, it's all fluff, right? Like 4 years. None of us know where our business is going to be 4 years from now. And the investors know it's fluff as well. So make a business plan, and some of them will like it. Some of them will want to see it. No one will read it. But what you should have is a 1 or 2 pager info memo. And that's the magic. When you're out and raising cash, you definitely need to have a 1 or 2 pager info memo and then 8 to 10 slide deck. That's all you need, and a fantastic story to be able to communicate, right? So your question is how to figure out how far to do the financial projections, right? 3 to 5 years, yeah. 3 years if you want it to be somewhat accurate, 5 years if you just want to pull numbers out of the air. Don't go in there. Let me put it this way. I think the most important thing to share would be don't base your pitch off of the financial projections. Yeah, because that is the number one blinking, not even red light, that's like a fucking siren that says this guy doesn't know what he's doing and he doesn't know where the value is in his business or anything like that. Yeah, the financials are important, include them, do your 1 or 2 pager info memo, but that's not the foundation of your pitch, definitely. Yeah.
What's the first thing you look at as an investor? Like someone comes to you with a pitch. What's the first thing you look at?
So for me, almost everyone would say team, the people, of course, super important. For me personally, the first thing that my mind starts getting active on is, can this person communicate very clearly, very effectively what exactly they're working on, yeah? And I come across it all the time, and I'm sure it's the case for a lot of people here, where you're working on something, 15, 18 hours per day. Yeah? You're dedicating your life to something, but when someone asks, hey, what do? You don't have a clear answer. Yeah? And that's, to me, the biggest, it's not necessarily a big siren, but it's definitely something that they need to work on, yeah? To recruit a team, to get partners, to get investors, to get any part of the business that matters. You need to be able to communicate very quickly and effectively what exactly your business does. We actually had a little workshop with the MIT group. You guys raised your hands. You were awesome today. Who was there? We did a fun workshop today on pitching and touched on that, sort of the 1-sentence pitch, describing your entire business in 1 sentence. And if you can do that, you're good in my books.
Yeah. And I researched a few companies who got funded as well. Most of the time, their core team is either you have someone who's a marketer / business developer, you have someone who's in design, and someone who's actually doing coding. So these are the 3 key people that you kind of need to figure out. I think Cradle kind of looks at that as well, because when you list down your core team members, they don't want to see like 3 salespeople in one team, because obviously you're just going to outsource your coding to someone else, which is very dangerous as well. Yeah. So these 3 things. Yeah.
Can I just pick up like that?
Yeah, man.
All right. So my question is about. Thank you.
I'd like to ask about the characteristics and the attitudes of the investors in Malaysia or in Asia as a whole, because what I realized is that in Asia we have this custom that we have to respect the elders, and therefore bringing it into the entrepreneur scene, when the investor you, most of the time you have to fit into their ideas, and it doesn't turn out to be the product that you want. It is their product.
Right.
Yeah. So, are we really ready yet to be the committee, is it ready yet to approach such investors?
Right. Yeah, no, it's a really good question. So a couple of things I'll say to that. One is kind of a cultural thing. Hopefully no one yells at me for this. But in North America and Europe, sort of the saying goes, ask for forgiveness, not for permission. Yeah, ask for forgiveness, not for permission. And I can see that similar type of mindset, or the reverse of it when people go out and get investors. They're very cautious, very timid. The reality in Malaysia is that there are a huge number of what I like to say raw investors. Yeah, we always hear about raw entrepreneurs and they get crapped on from everyone. There are thousands of guys and girls in Malaysia that have the capability to invest and the desire to invest, but they have absolutely no clue what they're doing. Yeah. So does that mean don't approach them? Definitely not. You can approach them, but don't go in there thinking that they know everything, and don't let them talk to you like they know everything. Yeah. It should be an equal conversation. If they treat you like crap, they're going to treat you like crap even after they give you money. Yeah. So you don't want to get married with someone like that. When you're finding a co-founder, it's a marriage. When you're finding an investor, it's a marriage as well. So make sure it's someone that knows what they don't know, and they're fine and comfortable with that. Because Malaysia does have a lot of people with money, but still a lot to learn, and that's fine.
What about incubators? Talking about that, because I know sometimes you pitch your idea to an incubator, and then they love it, but they will want to run it the way, they'll say, what, Adam, we have done this for 1,000 times, use our system, use our stuff. But that's where the founders sometimes have values clash because they don't like the way the incubator are doing things.
Right. So don't join the incubator, right? Because there are a lot of situations where people just join the incubator because it's an opportunity that's been open to them. The reason that you should join an incubator is to accelerate the success of your business, right? To launch and accelerate the success. And if you're trusting this incubator, if you're trusting them to be able to help you achieve that, then I would say typically do listen to what they're talking about. If they've got a great track record, if they've been there and they've done it, you're joining them to tap into that knowledge and experience that they have. So sometimes it is better to say, this is my dream and I'm extremely passionate about it, but wait a second, you do know better than I do. And the power of an incubator is that they have perspective. Yeah, perspective should never be undervalued. It's so difficult to see the path that you're on when you're walking it yourself, right? And incubators, they don't care about your idea, They don't dream about it in the same way that you dream about it. They dream about it from a very objective standpoint. So in most cases, I think it is best to listen to them. And if you're not willing to listen to them, then don't join them in the first place. Yeah.
Yep.
Adam,
What's up?
A couple of aspects to my question. You mentioned two amounts, 150 and 500.
Yes. You're dressed so well. It's fantastic.
Yeah, man.
It's wonderful.
This is because my office
man,
is like an ice block, and so I need 3 layers just to survive.
Okay.
So my question is with regards to the amounts, do you have thresholds of funding that you deal with? Maybe you only deal with requests that are over 10,000 or up to 10 million. And you didn't really mention anything about crowdfunding. I'm not sure how that fits into your model.
Cool. So the 150 and 500K, just to be clear, that's through Cradle Fund, the investment arm of the Ministry of Finance. So you're asking about how we do it at MGVD?
Right. I mean, what sort of typical values would you be looking at?
Okay.
Would you look at a small company that just wants 1,000 ringgit?
Right.
Or would
So
you say, well, that's not really something that we're interested
Right, fantastic. So MGVD is a venture builder. Basically, we have a large pool of shared resources, human, financial, knowledge, lessons, network, etc. We leverage this pool of resources to launch and accelerate many companies simultaneously. So MGVD as an entity is basically a co-founder. Let's say you wanted to build a company, you've got a fantastic idea, we could work together to build up that company, but we would be coming in as a co-founder, not as an investor. Yeah. So for MGVD, we're the same as we're just entrepreneurs. Yeah. We build the companies, but then we go and raise cash from different sources. And so within our group right now, we've got I think it's 10 different ventures. All of them are at different stages. We've got one guy who just went out today and pitched MavCap for I think it was 1.4 million US. Yeah, we have others that are looking for 50K ringgit. Yeah, so a very, very different range between all of them.
And the crowdfunding?
For crowdfunding, yeah, it's an interesting one. So my personal take on crowdfunding is that a lot of people approach it as if it's easy. Yeah, again, we hear about the success stories. We only hear about the good stuff. So a lot of people approach it thinking, just toss a video together and put a description, and then suddenly I'm going to get, millions of dollars. It's not easy. And if you look at the Malaysian platforms, a lot of them are great. We've worked with a couple of them, like Pitchin, I think Pitchin is fantastic. The problem is that they haven't achieved scale yet, right? For crowdfunding to do well, you need two things simultaneously. You need people with ideas and people willing to give cash. If you don't get both at the same time, then neither are happy, right? So if you look at the Southeast Asian platforms that do crowdfunding, none of them are worth investing time in today. Not to say they won't in the future, but none of them are worth doing it today. If you look at the ones stateside, obviously, what's the main one? My mind's blanking. Kickstart, exactly. They do fantastic. They do great things. The only thing that I'd say there is if you're going to approach it, don't approach it as if it's a small task. It's an absolutely massive task. A lot of work goes into crafting the proper story, and a lot of work goes into promoting it. Yeah? Don't think Kickstarter is going to do all your work for you. You put it up there, then you got to go hustle like crazy to get people to give cash. So that would be my take on crowdfunding. Only do it if you're going to invest a lot of time in it.
Maybe two more questions.
So with the Malaysian startup ecosystem right now, what do you feel is missing? Like, is there something missing?
It's a big one. Okay, we take the second question first. I think about that one. What's missing?
Assuming if you have access to some rich, retired individual, what will be the?
Are you?
What will be the top three things you will say or you will position yourself?
I'd give him my card first. That'd be one. I'd invite him to the office to see, and honestly, I'm dead serious about that. Yeah. Second thing is I'd invite them to the office, and the reason being, it's very difficult in Malaysia to find spaces. Actually, maybe this would be a good answer for yours as well. We'll get to that. It's very difficult to find real groups of entrepreneurs. Groups of people that are actually building companies in Malaysia. And our office is just in Damansara Heights, the Nest, if you guys have heard about it. It's an awesome space. Started as our office, we then opened it up as a co-working and event space. And when we first moved in there, we already had 20 real entrepreneurs that were buzzing around and building stuff, yeah? So when people walk in, it's no longer, oh, this is a nice space, but where are the people? They don't even notice the space. There's, every day 30, 35 people buzzing around building companies. So first thing, cards. Second thing would be invite to the office. And I guess third thing would be figure out what that investor actually cares about. Yeah, every investor is different. So we have the luxury of having many, many, many different projects and ventures within our group. Let's just assume, I'm sure not all of them are, but let's just assume all of them are incredible investment opportunities. That doesn't mean every investor would be interested in each of them. Yeah, people have, similar to how some entrepreneurs only want to build certain companies, some investors only want to invest in certain companies. So I would present to them what we're doing, what we're passionate about, and try and find the connection with that investor. Cool? All right, so to answer the last one, what's missing in Malaysia? First off, I'd never use the word ecosystem because I hate that word, because no one knows what it means. Yeah. What's missing in Malaysia? I guess this is going to sound kind of ironic because where did you get this photo, man? This is unbelievable. So it's going to sound a bit ironic because I just talked about, going out and getting cash from investors and securing money from grants and whatnot. I guess you guys have heard of the term grantrepreneur. Yeah, grantrpreneurship. It's just absolutely ridiculous. Coming back to one of the first slides I had, the goal of entrepreneurship is to build a product or service that adds value. Yeah? Raising money is not the goal. That is step one. Step one. That's just the tool. So what would be missing in Malaysia for now, and it's going in the right direction, but what's missing are more guys and girls that are genuinely passionate about building companies that add value. The focus is not on the cash, the focus is on building value. And I think through stuff like what we're doing and stuff like what Mav's doing with Kickstart and MDEC and a lot of these organizations, again, it's going in the right direction, but it needs to be accelerated. So hopefully you guys can help accelerate that. Yeah?
Cool. Okay, thank you. Is he gonna be around?
Yeah, I'll be around, and if any of you saw my details on the screen there, feel free to get in touch anytime. There we go, fantastic. I don't answer phone calls, I just don't, ever.
Yeah, I just realized that like 3 hours ago.
Yes, sorry. But yeah, get in touch anytime, WhatsApp, email, come by the Nest to see what we're all about, see what we're doing. And happy to help out really however we can. The most important thing for us, we have 2 goals in life. 1, build as many successful entrepreneurs as we can, and 2, build as many successful companies as we can. So if you want to be a part of that vision, that journey, come talk to us. Yeah?
Thank you.
Guys.